I speak to you in the name of the living God, Creator, Christ, and Holy Spirit. Amen. The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, 'You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, nor shall you touch it, or you shall die.' But the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not die. For your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.' And when the woman saw that the fruit on the tree looked good, and she was hungry, she ate it, and she shared it with Adam." Well, this reading and our other readings today have a lot to unpack, don't they? Just, millennia of human existence, patriarchy, etc. No big deal. Moving on. Is it so bad to be hungry? Was Eve at fault because she was hungry and the food looked good? Further, is it so wrong to be hungry not just physically, but intellectually? Was Eve wrong because she was hungry for knowledge? Is it wrong to want to learn? Is it wrong not only to be hungry physically and intellectually, but spiritually? To want to grow inside? I don't think it's so wrong. I think it's a good thing. I think we know it's a good thing. But, bad things happen. And it's easy to place the blame on one person. It's easy to place blame on somebody who is other or unlike us. It's easy to blame women. That is the easy path that all too many have taken for all too long, as we know. Adam and Eve on that day did not die. They did not die right away. They went on to have a family in another place. And those children had children, and those children had children, and here we are today. They did not die, not on that day. But perhaps what this one of many things, this rich and dense story has to share with us is that there was a change on that day. Adam and Eve did not die immediately. That was not the end of the story. But perhaps our eyes, like theirs, are to be opened to a choice that is always before us, every day. A choice between good and evil. Perhaps before this moment, Eve and Adam did not have to think, were not thinking about how to choose for themselves. We know that choice is always with us. It is a part of every moment of every day. Do we choose good? Do we choose to draw closer to our source, to God, our Creator, our Father? Do we choose to draw closer to one another, to love our neighbor? Do we choose to draw closer even to ourselves and love ourselves, which is often the hardest part? Do we choose love? life, hope, peace, justice? Or do we choose to let go of those responsibilities, of those callings upon us, and select the easier way? Select the path that places blame on someone else, selects the path that relinquishes even ourselves from blame and responsibility. That is the easier path that we humans take far too often. So perhaps that it is true that once presented with a choice, once aware of a choice between God and evil, between good and evil, between God, growing closer to God, and neighbor and love, and distancing ourselves from it, distancing ourselves from the responsibility of caring for self and neighbor and community, we do die. Do we choose option one all the time? No. And whenever we opt for that distance, for that lesser responsibility, from that integrity, we die a little inside. We die a little as a community. We become fractured and separate, when the truth is that we are whole and united. Choosing that wholeness is often the more difficult option, but it is nevertheless how we are made and what we are called to do. It is what our God-given hunger leads us to seek if we let it. Many say that the word religion comes from the Latin ligare, which means to bind, or the Latin religare, which means to bind back. To which option do we choose to bind ourselves, to adhere ourselves a little more closely? To love or to separation? It is a choice that is before us always. It is a choice that is before Jesus out in the wilderness and upon those great heights today. It is not the serpent, but perhaps the serpent's boss, the devil, who meets with Jesus and presents him with not just one question, but a series of them. The devil presents Jesus with the option of choosing to adhere to God, his creator, his identity, his self, his created wholeness, or to let go of that and choose the powers of the world, to fall in line behind the devil himself. Jesus is empty, famished, hasn't eaten for 40 days. He has little physical power and strength in that moment, but he is not alone. Empowered, we hear, by the Holy Spirit and attended by angels, seen and unseen. Empowered by the Spirit, he chooses again and again to bind himself, to align himself with the power of love. The love with which and in which he is born and made. It is who he is. Directly before this story, he has been at the River Jordan, and he was baptized, and the clouds parted, And a voice said, "This is my Son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased." This is love incarnate. This is the love to choose again and again. And when love himself is out in the wilderness, what does he choose? These are his tests, his temptations. Empowered by the Spirit which is within him and around him, he dares to bind himself, dares to choose again and again love, justice, peace, life, with a power that is quite beyond himself, but not about himself. He chooses the power beyond himself and lets go and turns away from the power that would be about himself. The Son of God does not need to be bound. The Son of God does not need to be constrained or to align himself. He does not need to do that. But he does. He chooses to be bound by and aligned with the power of love again and again and again. In this same power, in not all that long of a time, he will open his arms on a cross and choose love even then, emptying himself of all worldly power and choosing in his darkest moment the love of God again and again and again. To what power do you choose to be bound? In these days of flagrant, reckless disregard of powers that bind our community, that bind our country. What power do you choose? And remember that just like Jesus, you and I are not alone. We may feel like it. But the power of the Holy Spirit that attended Jesus out in the wilderness as he was tempted time and time again is with you and with me. And the same angels that surrounded him and attended to him are with you and with me. We are not alone. May our God-given hunger lead us through trial and tribulation and challenge and darkness to choose love again and again.